Welcome to Broken Bushcraft. I'm Adam. Before I kick this off, I mess this up sometimes, so I'm just going to do this right. This is my 50th video. And you figure after 50 videos that I have this down, but I don't. So 50th video. So if you're new here, thank you very much for showing up. And if you have stuck around the whole time, thanks, Mom. Then and you've watched all the videos, I appreciate that. Thank you. Hopefully the next 50 videos, we get to learn some more cool stuff and we keep the interest in the outdoors there. Because that's the whole point of this, is to get people interested back outside and off the screens. Off the screens after you've watched my videos, not beforehand. Because if you go out there without knowing anything, you're probably going to be a statistic. Whatever. If you learn one thing from me, it's wear your brown pants. That's it. That's the thing. So, we're talking about folding knives today. So the folding knife, I didn't really intro into that. So let's talk about folding knives. So your folding knife, really, you let your imagination run wild, because this is where you can let your personality shine, because there's so many options out there. It's one of the most debated things, really, because there are so many options. Like, what are you going to carry? So let's start with some of the basics. The basic thing is the blade, the main blade. Do you want it to be serrated, non-serrated? Do you want it to be partially serrated? Now, non-serrated blades, right here. No serrations on there. Benefit of these is they're easy to sharpen in the field. They're more, I think they're easier to use, as far as dexterity wise. These are a push cut, so if you push, you slice into it. Bad thing is if you have something, like if you really kind of need to grip something and your knife is not really sharp, then you're not going to get that grip. Partial serration, I want to go with this one. You have serrated and then non-serrated. I like the partial serration blades because you get that grip. So this is like a saw. You pull back on it and it bites into something that you're cutting. And then you have the non-serrated part where you can slice. With the serrated part, harder to sharpen unless you have a tool for it, or you can send it back to the manufacturer. Now, serrations can be very, very aggressive like that, or less aggressive like that. And they have other ones that, like this is a very less aggressive serration, but there's a lot there. Whatever you prefer. Now, they have fully serrated knives. I think I owned one once, and I got rid of it because it didn't do what I needed to do. All I could really do was a saw. So I have a saw. I don't need another saw. I need this to do a purpose, and that's what it was. So really, when you're picking these, I would suggest staying with either non-serrated or partial serrated. I like the partial serrated because if you have to grip something like nylon or like cheesecake, whatever, it gets in there. It's really tough cheesecake if you haven't used a serrated blade on it, but whatever. So that's that. Do you want one blade? One blade? Or do you want multiple blades? And if you want multiple blades, what do you want them to do? Like this one right here, this blade right here comes off, and I can replace it with another one. It's like basically like a scalpel. I think as sharp as can be. The main blade sticks, but this blade can be interchanged. My Ura knife, is that Ura on this side? No, it's Ura on this side. My Ura knife has two blades on it, which is basically a pocket knife. So I can throw these in my pocket and have it do what it does. It has two blades, giving me the option. These blades the single blades have typically like a lock on them, so they're not going to fold easy. These knives, this one does have a lock. These older style pocket knives do not have a lock on them. They're tension open, and tension, so you just put tension on the back of it, and it folds. Something to think about, especially if you try to take your ferro rod and run it down, you're going to bend that knife up on you, and now you have a bad day with that. So know your limitations with your knives. Now I'm going to call this a Swiss Army style knife. This is not a Swiss Army knife. This is an old Remington knife. But you have your Swiss Army knife, Swiss Army style knives. Now, do you want all these tools and accoutrements on there? Do you want to have, like a Phillips head screwdriver, scissors, toothpick, tweezers, saw, can opener, bottle opener, whatever? They can come with as many attachments as you want, or you can have very few attachments. Understand the more attachments that you have on your knife, the more cumbersome it becomes. Also, the heavier it becomes. There is an 89-piece Swiss Army knife. It's like $1,000. But the thing is like this. So you're like holding a ham sandwich trying to do anything with it. I couldn't even imagine trying to carve something or cut anything. But if you're an influencer and you want to influence, you can get that and people will notice you. Maybe. Next on folding, like I said, folding knives, is your Gerber Leatherman style knives. These are great because you have a main tool, like a pair of pliers, needle nose pliers, you have wire snips, whatever. And then you have all these extra accoutrements on there, or extra parts and pieces that you can use. Saws, files, different style knives, whatever is on there. Now, they can come big and bulky like these, or they can come small like this. So this is the one I carry. This is my, I'll make sure that I stab myself. This is my Leatherman Skeletool. I've carried this for about 3 years now, 2 years now, something like that. I don't know. Anyways, I like this. I went with this because I have a blade on it and I have the tool function. I found that I was using these knives for everything. I use it for a screwdriver, I use it for prying, I use it for whatever. And certain knives like this katana style knife, I broke the tip off somewhere. So just the tip is missing on this. That's the failure point on that knife. So I found that instead of me looking for multiple tools, I'll just get myself a multi-tool, and I got this, I think, in like one of those monthly box sets. And then ever since then, I've just liked it, and it has found its way in my pocket and stays there. Along with the Swiss Army knife. The Swiss Army knife is always in my pocket. I like having multiple tools. So me having the Leatherman and a Swiss Army knife is a redundancy that I understand. But it's just something makes me feel comfortable. Now this tool does not do the same as my fixed knife. My fixed knife has its purpose, has its jobs. My pocket knife, this is used for opening MREs, cutting my food, doing whatever. I am not batoning with my folding knife. I'll tell you right now. Don't baton with your folding knives. Don't do it. You're just going to waste money and you'll break your knife. So, I know eventually Mama Bushcraft is going to look at me and say, Adam, how many knives do you own? And I'm going to look at her, and I'm going to tell her, I don't know. I don't. They're basically like Dollar Generals at this point. They just keep popping up, and I keep finding them everywhere. So, not a bad thing, but I have so many knives. I should start whittling myself down, like we did there. So, with your folding knives, things you consider is what the purpose is for. Do you want to have extra tools on it, or do you just want a single blade? There's a lot of options. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you carry. Take a picture of it, send it to me. There's a lot of cool knives out there that maybe I'll even replace my knives with something you guys show me. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned something, or not. Here's the 50 more videos, and I'll see you in the woods.